Welcome to Rise from the Ashes, the podcast channel website that focuses on legal matters that may affect you and your family. On the program, we'll be talking with attorneys, mediators, counselors, and other family law professionals who understand the need to assist families and individuals in resolving the personal and legal issues they may be facing. Rise from the Ashes is sponsored by Mundall Law, who specializes in assisting families and individuals through the legal process with respect, dignity, and caring. Mundall Law is dedicated to helping people to solve their legal problems. You can visit the Mundall Law website at mundalllaw.com or call to schedule a consultation with one of their qualified family law attorneys. Please keep in mind that this podcast is intended only to inform and to assist in understanding legal and personal issues as they relate to family law. It should never be considered as a replacement for a qualified family law attorney. When in doubt, please contact a professional. Rise from the Ashes, focusing on matters of the family because family matters. Hi, and welcome to our podcast, Rise from the Ashes. I'm David Braddock, your host for the program, and we're talking again with Susan Mundall of Mundall Law, a family law firm located in Maple Grove, Minnesota. How are you today, Susan?
I'm good, David. How are you?
Good, thank you. Today, we've got about half a dozen points as to why a person would want to hire an attorney to handle their divorce. And you're going to help us to answer some of those. So let's just jump right into it. The first one is you don't know what you don't know. Can you tell us what that means?
The thing is, if you don't know what pensions are, how are you going to know how they should be divided in a divorce? If you don't know what is involved in transferring property, you don't know to even ask the questions in some ways. I've had people who thought, oh, well, we decided what the property division should be, so we're just not going to list the property. They don't understand that there's basic rules involved in doing a divorce. There's a whole chapter of statutes related to divorce, and a good attorney knows what those statutes are. And in addition, there's also rules involved for family court procedure on how things are handled. So you don't know what you don't know about those. So that's one reason to hire a good attorney.
Let's go on to our next one. Your emotions are running high, so you might say some things that you'll regret. And my question was, who will you say those things to?
The bottom line is we've done another podcast about the grief cycle. You really need to be careful about what you say. And what I was thinking of when I wrote that initially, I was thinking about your spouse. If you have children in particular, you are going to share grandchildren someday, which means you are going to have to deal with your spouse, your ex-spouse, throughout your entire life. In my parents' marriage, they were divorced for 40 years after their marriage. So you want to make sure that you're not saying things that you're going to regret later in having to deal with that person, because as we all know, we tend to remember all of the negative things that were said, and that person is going to carry that in the back of their mind for the next 40 years. Hiring a good attorney and, quite frankly, a good counselor at the same time, using those two avenues in which to at least talk about what you need to in order to reduce your level of emotions and be able to move to acceptance and moving forward with your life.
Okay, the next point, you are depressed, so you may agree to some things that later you may also regret. Why is that important?
I get a fair number of people who want to just simply give the other person everything because they just don't want to deal with it. While I understand the sentiment, at some time you're going to get out of your depression and you're going to go, oh my gosh, I gave up my retirement. Oh, I gave up my home. Where am I going to live? Oh, I gave up this and that. And, oh, I gave them our child. I gave custody over. And now all of a sudden I get these phone calls. And please understand that if you reach that agreement in a divorce and you sign on the dotted line, you now have a permanent agreement. No matter how much buyer's remorse you have, it's a legal document. So it is very important that you speak with with an attorney before you reach those agreements and understand fully what the agreements are, so later you don't have regrets doing it.
Okay, and here's another point. A good family law attorney will assist you in learning about your rights and responsibilities under the law. Why is that important?
You want to know the process. And that is the biggest complaint I hear from other people who have come to me after they've been with other attorneys. Their biggest complaint is, I didn't know what was going on. A good attorney is going to explain that to you. And in fact, in my practice, I actually use visual aids. I have flowcharts that show you exactly what's going on in your divorce. And I always encourage clients to ask the questions. Understand, after 29 years, I know exactly what the next steps are, but I need my clients to ask me, where are we at? What are we doing? That's why the very first thing I do is go through, this is the process. And so that's what you're looking for. Always make sure you understand what the entire process is, and then where are you at in that process at any given time.
Okay, and another point for why to hire an attorney is that a good family law attorney will assist you in weighing your various options. Tell us about that one.
What I'm talking about here, there's really property settlements, and then there's the kids. In terms of property settlements, a lot of people will go, okay, you get one car, I get one car, you get your retirement, I get my retirement, you get the house, and I get the cabin. While those may be great, there hasn't been any discussion about, are they equal in value? In property settlements, I work very methodically with my clients in determining what is the marital property that's involved. So that's a question of, is there non-marital property or marital? So I help people understand those differences. Then the marital assets, what is the value of those assets? Is there a difference in them? And then the third one is it a reasonable distribution of the assets so that it's fair and equitable? Those are things that a good attorney knows about and is going to be able to assist you in reaching an agreement that's fair and equitable. And while it isn't necessarily 50-50, what's the easiest way to divide a dollar?
Finally, an experienced family law attorney has more knowledge of the legal process and how to navigate the legal system on your behalf. That sounds like it's specifically looking at the law. Tell us about that.
That's exactly right. As I stated earlier, there is an entire chapter in Minnesota statutes that relates to divorce. But there are also other statutes that may have a peripheral relationship to divorce. There's the child support statutes, that's 518A. The divorce statute is Chapter 518. But under those, there are subcategories onto each process. And a good, experienced family law attorney knows those processes and how to get through them for your best interests. There's motion practice. If you have to do a temporary motion, there's certain rules that have to be followed, and you're not going to know any of those, even though there are forms available online. They're not going to be going into this sort of detail. And then there's simply understanding how to file, what has to be done to serve the other side, when to file. Attorneys' offices have the advantage that we can e-file, whereas if you're representing yourself, it's my understanding you actually have to go down to the courthouse and file it directly with them. And you only have a very limited ability to ask questions. An experienced family law attorney is going to help you through that entire process from start to finish.
I'm convinced, but is there anything else you'd care to add about why hire an attorney to help you with your divorce?
Well, it's my understanding that about 80% of folks are trying to do divorces on their own. And what they don't understand is their divorce is final. They are reaching permanent property settlements and custody agreements regarding their children that they will likely have over the lifetime of their children. And they're showing up in courts, and they think that everyone is going to walk them through the process, and they simply aren't. And while I understand that some people don't think they can afford an attorney, most of them never even check it out. Really consider about what you can afford, and then understand that an attorney can help you with those options, even if it is only helping you on an a la carte basis. Or in your best interest, they can help you the most in getting the best deal you possibly can in your divorce so that you can move forward with your life.
Wow, I love those insights, Susan. Thank you so much.
You bet, David. You have a great day.
You are listening to Rise from the Ashes, the podcast channel that takes a careful look at all things having to do with legal procedure within the family law process. Rise from the Ashes is sponsored by Mundall Law, who specializes in assisting families and individuals through the legal process with respect, dignity, and caring. Mundall Law is dedicated to helping people to solve their legal problems. You can visit the Mundall Law website at mundalllaw.com or call to schedule a consultation with one of their qualified family law attorneys. Rise from the Ashes, focusing on matters of the family, because family matters.